All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. All right, so my day today was horrible, and that's why I'm 49 minutes late and not coming to you from our normal studio room, and why there's only one of me. So welcome to the Ballistic Missionaries Wrasslin Supplemental. I'm going to try to get through a quick episode just because, well, it's almost 5. Man, I'm hungry. I had a rough day. Come on, guys. All right. So last Saturday, okay, let me think here. Where are we? I fell asleep during SmackDown last week and ended up in some kind of a 10-hour sleep coma, so I didn't watch it, needless to say. But Saturday night's main event was on Saturday night, as you can probably guess. It was pretty good. CM Punk versus Sami Zayn versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. The opening, Braun Breaker came out ahead, unsurprisingly. Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the women's championship, the U.S. Women's Championship. Zelina retained, so that's pretty cool. Although, to be fair, I would have liked to have seen. I want to see Chelsea Green with a belt. Maybe not that belt, but it would be nice to see her, with another belt run. But I'm happy Zelina has, I don't know. They need more women's belts. So they can both have a belt because they both deserve a belt. All right. R-Truth versus John Cena. Come on. Cena's going to retain. But R-Truth, as always, is hilarious, and I like having him around. He's funny. He's a gift to all of us, even if he gets his ass whooped. Oh, good. People are texting me now. That's fantastic, because I don't, Oh, let's see. Oh, it's from Amazon. Amazon's dropping off packages. You might see them through the window. Who knows? All right. So, steel cage match. Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Super good. Pretty rough. Jesse Ventura was confused as to why the one that escaped was the one that won. That was Damian Priest. He kind of has a point, because didn't it used to be like if you escaped, like back in his day, if you escaped, like you lost because you were a chicken? I don't know. That's weird. I wonder when they got that turned around. But, oh well, whatever. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the belt. Jey retains. Logan Paul is a little bitch, as usual. Actually, Karrion Kross has come out this week and made an interesting statement about Logan Paul. Let me see if I can look that up. Very similar to what we've been saying about Logan Paul basically just being a tourist. Here it is. Says, it's been brought to my attention that somebody in WWE thinks that his peers have a problem with his position in the company. He still doesn't get it. No one has a problem with his position. And the problem is that for some people who have put 20, even 30 years in, people like Kross who have, worked their way up through the indies and been on the main roster and been off the main roster and been back on the main roster. And honestly, it never feels like his footing is that solid. And is now back in the main roster. So, you can understand where this is coming from. For some people who have put 20, even 30 years in, they were told that there was a certain skill set that they had to acquire. Putting time in was going to equate to having very particular opportunities. Those opportunities don't seem to be available for those people now because they did not build a brand outside of the company. And for an extended period of time, no one was allowed to build a brand outside of the company. That's the issue. That's the problem. This person who believes that everyone has a problem with him is not about him. It might be a little bit about him because he's a dick. Anyone could be him and people would have a problem with that. If people were told when they went to professional wrestling schools that they had to build a brand outside of the company in order to position them better to have the opportunities that they could knock out of the park, that's exactly what they would have done. Professional wrestlers, in my opinion, have the strongest and greatest work ethic in the world. And if someone would have told them that this is what they had to do, that's what they would have done. Okay, so I asked that person, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Are we just going to wipe out an entire group of performers that have been doing this for an extended period of time because it's impossible for them to catch up to that advantage? Me personally, I'm actually learning from that person. I do see how the business is responding to that person. I don't dislike that person. I think that person's great, which I've been on record to say I like that person. I do. They're very cunning. I think that they do the things that I wish Sami Zayn would do, and then he'd be a world champion. I just don't think he still gets it. I'm actually shocked that he's rattled in the way that he is about this because he doesn't have to be, but here we are. I mean, you all know how I feel about Logan Paul. I think he's a dick. But Karrion Kross has a point. You know, Logan Paul is a celebrity and he just skipped the line. It goes to what Dan and I talk about Logan Paul a lot in the show, about how he's just kind of a tourist and he's like, oh, this is my thing now. You know, it used to be doing terrible things on YouTube, but now this is my thing. So everybody get out of the way until I'm done with this being my thing. Anyway, you all know I hate that guy. Anyway. All right. Sunday, NXT Battleground. It was a great it was a great show. And I would say Saturday night's main event, a lot of people said it was like a house show, but honestly I liked it. I liked that it was the matches were pretty tight, pretty condensed. It wasn't bloated. It wasn't like 15 minutes every commercial break of, oh, look at all these celebrities that we have in attendance. So yeah, it was pretty good. NXT Battleground, Sol Ruka versus Kalani Jordan for Ruka's championship. She retained. Although, you know, I'm kind of like in this side of Kalani Jordan. She's getting a little tougher, a little less milquetoast. She's growing a personality, which is good. So there was the WWE version of a trios match. Oops, shouldn't have said that. Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs versus the Culling. I don't know any of their names. Hank Tank and Josh Briggs won. Inamura came back, which was nice. I liked him. I wish that Briggs would have gone to Japan and NXT would have kept Inamura because he's pretty cool. So he's back. More drama with the D'Angelo family. It's just not a family anymore. Stax Lorenzo beat Tony D, the boss. Luca Crucifino is back now and distracting Tony D. We don't have a lot of information on what's going on with that. It kind of ended, but I'm sure on Tuesday we'll learn about what's going on and where Luca has been now that we know for sure that he wasn't murdered in the desert somewhere. So, all right. Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordan Grace. Oh, wait. No, that would have been on Tuesday. My God. Oh, God. I got to get better at these notes. I'm usually working. So, anyway. All right. Stephanie Vaquer defeated Jordan Grace to retain the NXT title. We will get back to that when we talk about our NXT episode. Obafemi defeated Miles Bourne to retain his title. But, we know he was going to. It was a tough match, though. It was pretty good. And amazingly, Trick Williams defeated Joe Hendry to become the new TNA World Champion. That was actually really shocking. It was the first time that a TNA title has been won on a WWE show. I was actually pretty surprised at that. I know that they're doing this TNA soft sort of crossover a little bit with NXT. Nobody watches TNA, so they had to do it on NXT so people would watch it. All right. Also going on Sunday was AEW's Double or Nothing, which I didn't see for reasons we'll get into. AEW, of course, is claiming that they had a lack in viewership because WWE scheduled an NXT pay-per-view, or premium live event, on the same night that they had a pay-per-view. The thing is that sometimes WWE will schedule NXT events earlier in the day on the same day that they have a premium live event, but about half the time they schedule them the next day. It's not unusual. I don't think the WWE did that on purpose. But to be totally fair, to stand up for WWE, AEW is still running the same old tired pay-per-view bullshit that's been going on for 40 years. Literally, if I wanted to get Double or Nothing, I would have had to pay $50 for it on Amazon Prime. I'm not going to do that. Like, was this from last week? I seem to recall. Did I not update all of this stuff from last week? I honestly have no idea. Dynamite 528. No, I have Dynamite. I don't know. Anyway. So I don't think I updated some of this. Oh, okay. So, when you're doing, WWE is, live streaming these premium live events on Peacock. Peacock's like $8 a month, maybe $10 a month for non-commercial Peacock, but and it's great. It's so easy to tune in. It's very cost effective. AEW is, like I said, they're charging $50 for to see it on a Prime pay-per-view. Come on, guys. No, that's bullshit. And it was not. I still don't think it's up for streaming on Max. They said that it would be available for streaming on Max. As of a couple of days ago, it was not. So honestly, AEW is just not keeping up with WWE in this regard, because after a WWE pay-per-view, it is almost immediately available to stream on the same channel. And yeah, so this is AEW kind of still shooting themselves in the foot. So I didn't get to see anything on Double or Nothing. I was hoping that I could find it and watch it so I could talk about that today. But I did look up the match cards and the results. So if you're interested, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron got the pinfall, but Anna Jay got kicked in the face or something. And Harley Cameron got her mouth cut open. She was bleeding everywhere. Ooh, it looked pretty tough. Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti versus AR Fox, Bandito, Commander, and Hologram. The latter, I'm not saying all of them again, they won. The Owen Hart Cup Tournament Women's Final, Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter. One of the matches that I really wanted to see. Mercedes Moné won. Owen Hart Cup Tournament for the men's final, Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay. Adam Page won, which was actually my prediction, I believe. Oh, wait, no, we did talk about this, I think. I can't remember if we talked about this last week, so I'm going to keep going. Adam Page won. FTR versus Nigel McGuinness and Dandra Garcia. FTR won. Big night for the commentating team. The Commander had a match, and so did Nigel McGuinness. Nigel's at Ian. I don't know. British guy. Stretcher match. Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. Amazingly, it was Ricochet, not Mark Briscoe. Because you'd think, that guy is tough as hell. But, hey, Ricochet apparently is tough as hell, too. So, good for him. World Tag Titles. The Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas. Hurt Syndicate retained. Continental Championship. Kazuchika Okada versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Okada retained. Women's World Champion. Timeless Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. Oh, God. This is another match that I really, really wanted to see. Storm retained, but, God, I bet it was good. Anarchy in the Arena. This is the big, 6 or 8 person brawl. The Death Riders, John Moxley, Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, the Young Bucks versus Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Katsuyori Shibata, Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, and Swerve Strickland. Oh man, that must have been a good match. Swerve pinned Nicholas Jackson of the Young Bucks for the win. Trios match, Paragon versus the Don Callis family. Adam Cole took out Kyle Fletcher for the win, surprisingly. All right. On Raw Monday night, Seth Rollins had a 20-minute opening promo. Ugh. Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee versus Penta for the men's Money in the Match qualifying triple threat match. Penta won. It was mostly the two luchadors and Vikingo in the audience helping to beat up on Chad. You know, it makes sense. Liv Morgan is back from filming, and Dom is trying to trade her in for a younger, shorter model in Roxanne Perez because he's a dirty hoe. So we'll see how that develops next week. Akira Tozawa versus Rusev. It was a squash match. Poor Tozawa. Oh my God. I love that guy. And he's just always getting his butt kicked because of bad booking. Honestly, though, like, he came out strong against Rusev. Obviously, he lost the match. But, yeah, at the beginning of the match, I honestly didn't know if it was actually going to be a squash match or if they were going to let Tozawa win because he came out fighting. But at the end of the match, Rusev wouldn't let him go, so Sheamus had to come out and kick some butt. So we're expecting a Sheamus-Rusev battle coming up here sometime. I don't know. New Day versus American Made versus the War Raiders. Triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championship. I don't know who won that. I didn't write down who won that. Who won that? I clearly was not paying attention. Oh, you know what? I think I started falling asleep. Let's see. 5, 20, something. Team triple threat. Results. Kairi Sane over Liv Morgan, apparently. Oh, New Day. New Day retained. Okay, apparently Kairi Sane beat Liv Morgan, and Seth Rollins beat Sami Zayn and Finn Balor for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. I fell asleep for those last 3 matches. Yeah. Let's see. NXT the next night, last Tuesday. The opening bout was the North American Championship, Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page. After Ava got super pissed at them for constantly causing havoc, she's like, just go. Just do this. Leave me alone. Page actually took the championship off of Saints. Was kind of surprising, although, oh God, there was a scary moment where Page did a questionable move that saw Saints basically going throat first through and destroying a metal folding chair. He was laying there for a while. His face got super red and the veins were popping out in his head, and it looked like he couldn't breathe for a good bit. Eventually, he got up and finished the match. It looked iffy there for a bit whether he was going to be okay, but to be perfectly honest, after what he did to Javon Evans, breaking his jaw the way he did, also with a folding chair, I'm kind of starting to wonder if, like, he's not just an extreme wrestler, whether he just botches a lot and he's not as good as he seems to be. I think that's a worthwhile question because, oh man, I didn't know what was going to happen when I was watching that. It did not look like kayfabe. It looked pretty bad. But anyway, the belt is off of Ricky Saints. He's probably going to be going up to the main roster, I think. Who knows if there's going to be a draft or not this year. It's supposed to happen by tomorrow, and no word on a draft one way or the other. So I have no idea. But there have been, as all of you know, Roxanne Perez, Julia have been going up, or already went up to the main roster. Ricky Saints, obviously, there's been talks about him going up to the main roster. So, I mean, they've been doing sort of a soft draft. They've been trading back and forth between the shows here and there. So I don't know if there will be an official draft, which honestly, I actually kind of like the draft. It was a bit of a spectacle, but that spectacle I did kind of enjoy. It was like Christmas morning, like who's gonna be up next? I don't know. But so also apparently both Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vicaire are rumored to be heading up to the main roster, one on Raw, one on SmackDown. Here in the next week or two, maybe. Again, I don't know if that's going to be via draft or if that's just going to be, sort of a soft trades between the brands. But amazingly, well, it less amazingly now that we know that she's going to be leaving NXT. But Jacy Jayne has her title. Finally, Jacy Jayne has her hands on a solo title. That's excellent. She definitely deserved it. She deserved it more than Fallon Henley did. Like how Fallon Henley held the title before Jacy Jayne did, I do not know. That's ridiculous, but that's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's awesome for Jacy Jayne. Also, Jasmine Nix apparently still has a job because she showed up for work. Okay. And there's more infighting between Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne. If they're smart, they'll drop the rest of Fatal Influence and just let Jacy Jayne go solo because she's better than the other two put together, quite frankly. And it would be nice to have her get a bit more high profile. That's just I don't know. Weirdly, though, in light of the news that Vicaire may be going to the main roster, there is a AAA tag team that apparently I did not catch their names, that Vicaire has built up some ire with over the years. They showed up to interrupt the match. Lola Vice showed up to help stop them. It was kind of pointless interruption, but they're like, oh, by the way, we're still here. So I'm a little unclear about what's going to happen to them, what's going to happen with AAA people when they, why did that happen if Vicaire is going to be going up to the main roster? I don't know. Maybe she'll, it'll be her and Lola Vice versus these two ladies. Maybe a bit of a stepping stone for Lola Vice this week. I don't know. All right. Mike Santana versus Tavian Heights from No Quarter Catch Crew. Mike Santana won. It was okay. I don't know who Mike Santana is. He's basically male Lola Vice at this point. He's Latino. Well, he's Puerto Rican, specifically. But Tavian Heights hasn't, Miles Bourne came out for the biggest men's championship. He got his time in the spotlight. So it's nice that Tavian Heights is kind of doing the same thing. It was a low profile match. It was fine, but it was a nice showcase for the two of them to kind of put them front and center. Tatum Paxley versus Jada Parker. Poor Tatum got smashed, man. Miss Parker don't play. Poor Tatum. I'm glad that she's out there. I'm glad that she's not gotten lost in the mix there. Dante Chen. I didn't know Dante Chen was still with the company. I'm glad that he's back, although he came out to put this Jasper Troy character over. That was a little depressing. I actually really liked Dante Chen. He had a lot of promise, and then he just kind of disappeared, so I don't know where he's been at. But I'm hoping this means that he'll be more front and center some more. I don't know. Or I don't know. I would like to see him with a belt run. I'd like to see him get at least a little bit more attention because the guy's pretty good. Let's see. Oh, that was it. The main event was Jacy Jayne versus Stephanie Vicaire. It was a really good match, despite interference. It's stupid. Jacy Jayne does not need the interference. She's awesome as she is. And you know what? Finally, she is holding the women's title, and that is super cool. All right. Dynamite. On to AEW. Dynamite 5/28, Wednesday. Adam Page opened the show, and honestly, it was a good promo. He spent a good bit of time extolling the virtues of his opponent, Will Ospreay. Obviously, Will Ospreay is an excellent fighter. And then in a bizarre bit of being overly dramatic, he gave up the belt to Tony Schiavone, saying he didn't want it, that he had other things to do. I don't know. But he wants to go up against Jon Moxley for Moxley's title, which no one has yet seen. Dan and I are pretty sure that he left it on a bus somewhere, and that's why he carries around the briefcase. And he's been doing it for so long because, he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't have the belt and he left it somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, so Swerve came out while he was still promoing. He played a clip of the Young Bucks after they screwed Swerve over, basically saying that they screwed him over for Paige because Paige wanted Swerve to never become the world champ again. He came out to ask if it was true. Paige said if he wanted to cost him the match, he would have done it himself. So Will Ospreay comes out to join the promo battling and separated the two, says Paige is lots like Swerve, and suggested that they all work together. Swerve knocked that damn mic out of Ospreay's hand and walked out. So I don't know what this means. I guess maybe Swerve is going to be coming after Adam Page. I don't know. It would be cool to see them work together again, or for the first time, since I didn't get to see it on, the pay-per-view. Anyway, so trios match, Death Riders, minus whatever the fuck his last name, Marina Shafir and Jon Moxley, and also Gabe Kidd, who's not technically part of the Death Riders, versus Willow Nightingale, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball. Really good match. Very enjoyable. Pretty tough. Shafir and Willow beat the hell out of each other, and some of the men. More than some of the men. Moxley won by a referee stoppage against Briscoe. Yeah, I don't like matches like that, but whatever. No DQ match. Anna Jay and Harley Cameron versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the match where they got all bloodied. Yeah, it was pretty bleak. Bayne and Ford won, unsurprisingly. Yeah, that was a rough match to watch. Trios Championship. The Ops minus Hook, who may or may not be with them anymore. There was a bit of a falling out there. We'll see what happens. But with Powerhouse Hobbs versus some new arrivals, Frat House, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, and Cole Carter. It's a squash match. Come on. The audience was not into them at all. Basically, they were trying to get a chant going about drinking, and the audience was ignoring them and or booing them. And they really only started paying attention whenever Samoa Joe body checked the guy who was on the mic to start the match. Then they were interested. They were on the Ops side all the way. These guys, they did not get over in the slightest. I mean, they looked like they were 35 years old and talking about drinking at the frat house, bro. Yeah, this is not 2006 anymore. You guys need a new shtick. Jamie Hayter came to speak to the audience. Lights went out, and Thekla, the spider, showed up to make an impact, fresh from being fired for cause in Japan for slugging the owner or the president of the company. I'm not sure which. So that was pretty interesting. I'm kind of curious to see. I don't know who she is. She's Hungarian, I think they said. But I'm curious to see I'm curious to see her back. See what else she can do. TNT Championship. Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole. There was a DQ when Josh Alexander came in to help Fletcher beat up Cole. Brody King came in to stop them. King and Alexander were part of the next qualifying match. It was a good match up until then. I don't like the DQ finishes. I don't like interruptions. I think it's overused, personally. And Brody King won against Alexander for the qualifying match for whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. It was getting late and I was busy. And then Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné are up against each other at All In July, which, yeah, looking back of the last few months, there's definitely been a lot of build-up. to get those two together. So they were promo battling, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. It was great. That was the main event, the promo battle, and it was just phenomenal. Tony Storm is hard to outwit on the mic, but Mercedes Moné held her own pretty well. It was so good. It was so good. I wish all wrestling promos were that. It was beautiful. But that's another match I'm not going to be able to watch because of their stupid pay-per-view rule, but it's going to be so good. So that's about it. That's the week in wrestling that I was conscious for. We also got a new Pro Wrestling Illustrated is out, but I haven't had time to read it because it's been a long week. All of my weeks are long weeks, honestly. But yeah, I know I got on late. I tried to finish this up pretty quick. I need to get dinner, so I'm gonna head out. Monday we will be back. Monday will be June 2nd, which means it's the start of Pride Month. So we're gonna be talking about Pride on our regular show on Monday afternoon. So definitely tune in for that if you're into that. Everybody should be into that because it's awesome. And it's not cool to hate people for the way that they were born. So, yeah. All right, but I'm going to get going. I will see everybody on Monday with my streaming partner, Dan, and partner in life, of course, But, we'll see you guys then. Bye.